you done now?
This is minute 56 of Clue the movie.
Will you shut up? We're doing our best.
They're shooting at us. No, please. I've been shot. I've been shot.
Come out, the deli's open.
Why are you shooting that thing at us?
To get you out.
You know you could have killed us. I could have been killed. I can't take any more scares.
But look! Which one of you did it?
We found him. Together. How did you get in?
The door was locked.
It's a great trick. There's a secret passageway from the conservatory.
It's not the same gun.
From the cupboard.
It was locked.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Clue the Movie Podcast, where we break down the 1985 cult classic movie Clue 1 minute at a time. My name is Brad Gilmore, joined by Jeff Smith. Minute 56. Jeff, how you doing, though, man?
Oh, it's been a while, but here we are again, and this was a very fun minute. I think I'm watching you as these clips play. Unfortunately, the listeners don't have the charm that I get to see emitting through the screen. I think Colonel Mustard is becoming your favorite character.
You know what?
You visibly laugh the most at things that Martin Mull as Colonel Mustard is doing.
So
it's fun to watch.
I remember playing the Clue board game in third grade at Edgar Allan Poe Elementary School. And I loved the name Professor Plum, right? I said, Professor Plum, that's such a great name. And then when I saw in the movie and realized Professor Plum is Doc Brown, how could Professor Plum not be my favorite character as a kid? Okay. Now, growing up, after especially during this podcast, my love for Professor Plum has waned significantly. Mainly for the deviousness said within. However, you are correct in your assessment. I find myself chuckling the most at Martin Mull and Colonel Mustard. And this is a new thing for me. I'm experiencing it for the first time.
Okay. It's okay. We're all here with you right now during this whole process.
So I appreciate your support in my realizations of which Clue character I love the most. And
man.
But this was a great Martin Mull minute.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on, and we finally get the payoff from that opening shot when he arrives, and we see the point of view from the ceiling and showing the chandelier that now 55 minutes later, we pay off.
So there's a lot of questions here. So we might as well start. So in the last minute, we saw, them discover the motorist, them being Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet was dead. Jeffrey Kramer is no longer with us in a live action role. He's there in a dead action role.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere for a while, though. He's got much more to do.
Yes. But this is my question. Okay. They're trying to figure out how to get him out. Wadsworth can't break down the door. They don't know where the key is.
No.
We think that the key was pilfered by a certain person, but we're not entirely certain. So Yvette has the idea to grab the revolver and shoot the doorknob. Now, in the mid 1950s, right, where this is said to take place, 54.
Yeah.
There were movies, there were talkies, there was some action movies. But to me, if this movie happened in 2023, the scenes of Clue the movie happened in 2023, it would make sense to me that she grabs the gun to unlock the door, because we've seen it in so many action movies, right? Boom.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Bullets can do anything.
Boom, right? I don't know how much they've seen that old movie trick in 1954. So I am questioning why she got this idea.
Yvette's motives to shoot at the door where she knows two people are right behind it.
Yes. Like, what is going on here?
And I was always confused, to add to your confusion, to create confusion. It worked. When Mustard says, I've been shot, I thought he really got shot the first time I saw it. So I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. He's got a bullet wound for the rest of the movie. But he doesn't. He was not shot. He just thought he was shot, I guess.
He thought he was shot, or did it graze him?
Sounds of war, and it brought him back.
Yeah, I was always under the assumption that he was actually maybe grazed by the bullet, and perhaps he was not. Again, it's not totally clear, but
he's panicking. But going back to what you said, yes, Yvette, do we think she was a big like moviegoer, that she would have seen maybe, gangster movies from the 30s and 40s? And I'm sure at some point someone shot a gun at the door. I'm sure Cagney shot a gun at a door at some point. But would they get them in France? Because she's obviously from France.
Right. She's a French maid.
She's a French maid from France with a very realistic, thick French accent.
That's never been questioned by anybody. So that really is my first thing that came to my mind. And then, so here's there's the other one. I got a lot here.
Good.
She runs into the room, into the, what is it? The entryway. What do we call that? The foyer,
the hall.
And she runs into the hall, trips over Wadsworth. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, makes sense. He is laying on the floor.
Yeah.
You're running with purpose with a gun. You might not be aware of everything that's around you, and you don't see the guy on the ground. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I have a question, though. Right after the gun goes off by accident the first time, Mrs. Peacock and Mrs. White grab each other in shock and then let each other go.
Embrace.
In disgust. Yes. What is this about?
They do not like each other, and I don't know why all of a sudden they're disgusted by each other's contact. But this is a lot, like Madeline Kahn's got a lot of weird things earlier that she's doing behind Mrs. Peacock's back, so I get why she doesn't like her. And maybe Mrs. Peacock is just disgusted by Mrs. White's lifestyle. But yeah, they go to each other first for comfort and then like practically shove each other off. And it's a very easy to miss little character moment. Mrs. Peacock also yells, "Will you shut up? We're doing our best." She's not even really doing anything. And I think she's out of sync too. If you watch, I don't think that's what she said at that scene, because you cut to her and like she opens her mouth for one word and I don't think it's shut up.
Well, we'll have to look at that here in just a second, because I noticed some ADR in this scene. There's a couple places.
Yeah, for sure.
That I noticed it. But okay, forget this then. Forget why she grabs a gun. Forget
she
the
figures that
moment.
cabinet's she's gonna break it open to get that gun. That's how bad she wants it.
Right. And I want to get back to that. But here's my other thing with the chandelier. Was it commonplace for a chandelier to be hung with a rope? Is that what we're led to believe? Like a thread?
It looks like a thread, so one wonders what the power source is.
Right. Like,
well, it's not. No, wait. It's not electric, is it? Is it lit, or is it just?
I think it's lit.
No, it is lit. Yeah, there's lights. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking through it. See, okay, yeah, it's lit.
Okay, so there's some power source to it, and it's not coming from that little thread.
No, so I don't get what it could have been. So, and this was going to be my question. I'm trying to find where she shoots. Here she shoots. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, there we go. That looks just like a rope.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't see it. It looks just like a rope.
No, but I see it. Yeah. Yeah. So there's no like electric wires or anything that would be powering up this thing. It's just one little rope. And
that's what I was going to ask. Was it commonplace in the 1950s? You know what's so weird is
to have magic chandeliers.
I'm about to type into Google. Is it commonplace to
go ahead?
Put a chandelier up with a rope, and you know what the first thing that comes up on Google is? Was it commonplace for cousins to marry in the 1800s?
Hmm.
And then
What does it say?
this is really strange. Here is the was it common's first results on Google. I don't mean to get on this tangent, but
No, I like it.
was it common for cousins to marry in the 1800s is number one.
Very
The
specific.
second one, was it common for siblings to marry? Number two.
Wow.
Number three, was it common for kings to have mistresses? It's number four.
Not the internet I know.
Number four was, again, was it common for married cousins or to marry cousins? Very strange.
For to marry cousins. There's a lot of people that are very attracted to their cousins.
It gets weirder. The next one,
Oh.
was it common for first cousins to marry? What is going on here? And the final one is, was it common sense to be a patriot? Well, I don't understand
To be a patriot.
I don't understand what any of this is about. How do you feel about
I don't know, but it's fun to watch it get narrowed down. Like, is it okay to marry your second cousin? Okay, yes. Okay, cool. It's another question just off the top. What about first cousin? Is that cool? Is that okay? No. Okay. All right. I was going to do that anyway. Gross. I'm a patriot, though. Just so you know, that's common sense, right?
Common sense. Was it common
So I
sense
must
to be a
okay.
patriot?
I'm a patriotic American. What could be more patriotic than that?
Very weird.
Clue. So, did you discover if it's common to hang a chandelier by a rope?
Here we go.
Did we totally abandon that?
This is from the FrenchBlueCottage.com, and this is what it says. Interesting that it's French. I saw an HGTV design store where the contestant hung a chandelier by a chunky length of rope. I love the way it looked. The juxtaposition of the crystal chandelier with all its bling hung by a rope. Excuse me. I was going to say something else. Hung by a rope. And I've been searching for a way to replicate this ever since. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. They're just showing me pictures. Yes, it is rather common for many people in mid-century modern homes to like this look.
Oh.
Okay, it continues on. You can find the cotton rope here that is normally used to hang the chandelier with a coastal style, whatever this means. To hang the rope, you just need to tie a knot on top of the chandelier chain like this. Okay, and then it tells you blah, 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 blah. Okay, it seems like it's done, but they tie the rope around and they coil it around a thin wire that does supply the power.
Right.
So this is not out of the realm.
Yeah, and we're looking at a close-up of the rope right now on the screen, and it's kind of twisted around.
It is twisted around, so it
could be accurate.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure this was an enthralling couple of minutes of us trying to figure out ropes and how to marry first cousins. But
Chandelier 101. And cousins, yeah. You come for the chandelier, stay for the incest.
Which was actually the tagline to Midnight Madness.
Yes. You'll learn it all, ladies and gentlemen, in the new doc.
But okay. So here's the other thing. Do you think her motivations were sinister? Her being Yvette, shooting at the lock.
She's bad.
To kill. I mean, obviously she knows who's behind it. Here's the thing. She knows who's behind it. The two people that she's got the most beef with, right? A frequenter of an establishment, a house of ill fame, right? And the madam who was arranging everything, who pimped out Yvette. They're both behind the door, and she fires a revolver at the door. Come on.
And it says, "Come out, the door is open." And then, probably to her surprise, they walk out, and he scolds her. "Why are you shooting at us?" Yeah, because then in the next minute, she's going to be confronted like, "How did you know the cabinet was open?" And she says, "I didn't." But I don't think if she knew the cabinet was open, she wouldn't reveal it. It's not life or death going on behind that door. They're just having a little panic attack. behind the door from discovering the motorist, but no one's like getting killed at the moment. They're just freaking out. So she didn't need to reveal that she knows that the cabinet is unlocked,
Right.
on accident. So I think she probably did not know and thought, oh, I'll shoot them while they're there, and it'll look like. I think you're right, Brett Gilmore. I think she did try to shoot at least one of them.
At least one, if not both. And she was
fires
unsuccessful.
twice. 1 + 2.
1 + 2 plus
2
plus
plus
one.
1.
Okay. I think that she did this nefariously. I think she's in on it. She was trying to kill them. She thought this would be a good way. Oh, I am just nothing but a French maid. I do not know what I am doing.
Yeah.
You know?
I will clean it up later.
I will clean it up later. Oui, oui, madame. Right? Not knowing what's going on. It was very fishy. Now, let me break this down another second. Okay.
Oh.
Now, as you said, and we talked about earlier in this podcast, there was the chandelier shot. Okay, where it was when Colonel Mustard's arriving, and you even called it in that minute. You went foreshadowing. I believe it's exactly what it is.
That sounds like how I would say it too.
And so we know that eventually it pays off with Colonel Mustard. Now, the weird part of it, and I'm going to put the minute back on the screen here so I can show you what I'm referring to, is, okay, Colonel Mustard says, here it is right here. He comes out of the door after the door is shot and open. He's confronting Yvette, who's still holding the revolver in her right hand. Now, watch the blocking here and tell me why this makes sense for them to do. So, okay, look. At that moment, he walks up and he puts his right hand on her left shoulder, saying, you know you could have killed me. Okay, we see that the chandelier is spinning wildly.
Killed us. I could.
Now, then this is my question. Why does he shove her to that spot?
You know you could have killed us.
He pushes her.
Pushes her, and he stands right in the line of this. Now, I know why, movie-wise, he does this. But is there any, does anyone have an argument like this? Or do you shove anyone with one hand, first of all, in a real fight?
Well,
or an altercation?
I don't shove anybody. But if I did, no, not really. And yeah, it happens pretty quick, and it's in a long shot. So I've never really noticed until now that he does get her out of harm's way.
He gets her out of the way, puts himself in the line of fire to set up the joke.
Right.
Sure.
All for comedic staging, Martin Mull.
Now that I'm looking at this chandelier again, though, do you see a wire?
Oh, yeah. Now we're looking at it close up of the rope, and it's really about to snap, and there is no... That's, well...
Is that a wire right there in the middle?
Maybe. It's about to snap, that's for sure. And would a wire snap like that? Probably not.
Okay. And then
although it got shot. I've never shot a chandelier.
Killed! I can't take any more scares.
So it completely snaps. Boom! Now, here's the other thing. You see right here on Colonel Mustard's left shoulder?
Oh, yes.
I think he was shot.
There is a hole when Colonel Mustard falls into the chair after the scare of the chandelier. There is a white hole on his left shoulder, which is right. That's the arm that was up against the door when she was shooting.
So but a
bullet
no blood.
Pierced his jacket, but not his shirt.
So maybe it went through like through the material, like it grazed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it went through the lock, opened the door, and gave him a little hole in his shirt. Ooh, I want to watch now for the rest of the movie to see if that jacket always has that hole.
Well, it should. Continuity, brother.
Yeah. I know. But look!
And this is where I hear some ADR.
Which one of you did it?
We found him.
Oh, yeah.
Together.
How did you get in?
The door was locked.
It's a great trick.
There's a secret
Right there.
passageway for the conservatory.
It's a great trick.
It's a great trick.
What does that mean?
How you got in? It's a great trick. The door was locked. How'd you get in?
Is that
magic? Her husband was an illusionist.
That does track.
Yeah.
But it's a great trick. Is that another turn of phrase I'm unaware of? Like search me?
No.
Oh.
No, that's not a search me. I think that really is the former wife of an illusionist. It's a compliment.
It's
also, I never thought about it until just now.
That
That's
is
so funny.
Wait,
it's a great trick.
Yes.
Yeah, it comes back.
Oh, you're so
well done,
right,
Jonathan Lynn. Who else would say it's a great trick but Mrs. White?
Search me. That is
Because
incredible.
she was very judgy on her husband, that he was not a very good
He wasn't a very good illusionist.
Disappeared and never reappeared. But getting through that door, finding the dead motorist, it's a great trick.
Okay, here's the question, though. It's a great trick is obviously ADR'd in there at that moment. Do you think that this is a line that came to him later?
No, it looks like her lips are moving with it, but there's a lot of scenes in this movie where the ADR is slightly obvious. There's points where it's one, like when they're talking over each other, you'll hear like, that'll work, I'll do it. And you can tell like it sounds different. Michael McKean has a few lines like that where it's just super clear. Speaking of Michael McKean, during the scene when they open the door and discover the motorist, he like rips off his glasses and he's like shocked by finding murder in front of him. And he grabs at his eyeballs. Like it's very dramatic. And then he watches without the glasses, almost like his Clark Kent became Superman for a second because he's in the murder scene. And we all know he's not Mr. Green. But then when the gun is pointed out, he puts his glasses back on to look at the gun.
Very interesting from him.
That's right in front of him.
You know, and he'd already seen 2 murders.
I'm watching him do. That's true. I'm watching him a lot as we're watching it again because ever since our theory that he's FBI, I'm watching him for all those kind of fun things. Everybody's fun to watch. Professor Plum's not doing all that much, but everybody else is come to play.
That's why he doesn't remember much.
I don't remember. I didn't do anything. I was cashing checks from Back to the Future.
I was at the Royal premiere with the Royals. I
can't deal with this board game.
Have you ever? Because you've done some stuff in front of camera other than your documentary, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had to do ADR before?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your experience like? Because I did it for a movie one time. What was your experience?
Okay. It was odd because I would like try to change how I did it before, and you're supposed to do it just like you did it. And I had like new ideas on how I wanted my inflection to be. And they're like, no, just do it like you're supposed to, moron. So I thought it was fine. It was weird. I probably sounded more canned than in the room because it's a little different when you're just standing in front of a microphone going, hey, wait a second. Which was, I think, the line.
That was my experience too. I did a romantic comedy where I was in one scene, right? I was in one scene, but I shot it in like 2014 or something like that, 2015. And then they called me in. I guess post-production on the movie was a long time because they called me in like 2017 to do post-production on it, like to do ADR. Right. There were a few things that were different in those years, chief of which you go from a man in your early 20s, like 20. I think I was 20 or 21 when I shot the movie. And then when I go in to do the ADR, I'm like 24, 25-ish. So it was like a pretty long layoff, okay? And so you don't even sound the same. So you have this slightly more mature voice. I don't have the deepest voice in the world by any means, but my voice was deeper then than it was when I shot it. And so it didn't look right to me. You know what I mean? It looked like this more mature voice was coming out of a younger presence.
It's like watching the new Indiana Jones movie and listening to Harrison Ford just through the whole thing, and you're like, oh, it was just 12 years ago you could talk. It's even kind of like when you see musicians years later, and you know John Bon Jovi ain't hitting the high notes anymore. It's just your voice changes. What that excuse has for these guys is since this was all over a matter of 30 days. But there's definitely, but it's kind of part of the charm of Clue is the fun ADR. And I like that a line that maybe would have been buried, like it's a great trick. Maybe she said it too quiet on the set and it kind of got mixed up with everything. And
that was going to be my question. Like as a director, when do you normally need ADR? Is it when just something's not clear from the boom mic or whatever?
It could be sound like, you know, if you were shooting, they're on a sound stage here, so their sound should all be clean. But if you were shooting a scene at the beach or, in front of a fountain or by an airport or something like that, where you can't control the sound, a lot of time ADR happens that way. Or a lot of times ADR is used in movies when they do an edit and they realize something doesn't make sense and they need to bring a character back to explain something. And they're usually off camera when they explain it because they don't have a scene where their lips match to that at all. So if somebody's in a movie about to go into a big, heavy explanation of plot and it keeps just cutting to reaction shots of everybody else in the room, that's because they came up with that late.
Oh man, and that's why I guess as a filmmaker, I've always heard you want to. I guess it's why they all do it. They shoot way more than they actually use.
Yeah,
and you get different shots more than you'll actually use because you don't know when it gets to the edit bay what we might need.
Mm-hmm. Well, editing is they call it basically the final rewrite. It's the last time you go in and change everything and put things out of order, take things out, move things earlier. It's editing's fun for that very reason because it's really, you can make or break it right there. That's why some actors are scared of working with new directors because they know how much editing impacts their performance, because you want to make sure the editor or the director and the editor pick out the best take.
Oh,
and even some cinematographers, if they don't like the shot while they're filming it, will like move the camera to screw it up on purpose so the editor can't use it later. It's very aggressive.
Oh, the tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
The tricks of the trade.
It's a great trick.
It's a great trick. It's a great trick. Now we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out the great trick of how Yvette knew or got into or was aware of the revolver being in an unlocked cabinet. And you see in this still shot right here, Mr. Green, still not with his glasses on, but is about to. Professor Plum investigating what's going on. And
was that the gun from the cabinet?
And then look at Wadsworth's face. Not surprised at all.
Doesn't seem surprised. It's a good still.
It's a great still. It's a great still. So, anyway, Jeff Smith.
It's a great still.
Great still, great Scott. It's a great trick.
Great trick. There's your title.
I think we figured out the title of this episode. And I think this would be an apropos time, though, here at the end of it. Before we wrap up for the week. This is, in the States at least, Thanksgiving week, where you sit down and give thanks. That's, I think, the tradition you're supposed to do.
That's what they do.
And we hang out, so we just want to say Happy Turkey Day to, I guess, everybody out there. Any like traditions the Smith family holds for this joyous occasion?
Not. You know what's funny about the Smith family? We all, growing up, and then later I had similar jobs where we always worked in places that were open during the holidays, always. So our tradition is we never celebrate the actual holiday on the day. We'll do it, the Wednesday before or the Friday after. We've had a lot of Christmases on the 28th. So that's kind of our weird thing is like, we'll go, oh, it's coming up. Thanksgiving's coming. What day do you want to do it? Just assuming that it won't be Thursday.
On Turkey Day.
Right. But what are you going to do? What happens at Gilmore Land?
Well, in Gilmore Land, we do the traditional, we all get together, the family. When I say we all, I mean like the immediate family. And then, you do the stuffing, the corn casserole, the mashed potatoes, the turkey, the ham, the cranberry sauce, the, rolls, it's a big Texas
monkey's
brain and other elements of Cantonese cuisine.
Yes. Although I will say, as you were talking about that, and I was thinking of the majesty of Thanksgiving. 2 years ago was the first Thanksgiving I had where my lady and I moved to Boston, and we went to her sister's in-law family, which is a very big Italian family, for Thanksgiving. And there were probably like 30 people there. It was the biggest Thanksgiving I'd ever been to. And out of the 30 people there, 22 got COVID, including me.
Oh,
I was the first that called in and said, everybody feeling okay? Because I don't feel so good. And then everybody got it. So last year, Thanksgiving, nobody got COVID. Oh, we saw Glass Onion. That was last Thanksgiving. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was a year ago. We talked about it on this very podcast.
Wow.
We saw Glass Onion because it was in theaters for like a week. And then so this year we're going to Arizona to go see her mom. So that's what we're doing this year.
Well, you know what?
Fun. So hopefully COVID-free, disease-free.
Let's hope so. We give thanks to you all. I give thanks to you, Jeff, and thanks to all of our listeners.
Thanks to you, Brad,
for this fun podcast. And we'll be back after Thanksgiving with a minute 57, which will mark 40 episodes to the end of this podcast.
What?
Yeah. And we'll be back next week. See y'all.